Hey guys, so welcome back to the channel. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about major updates on the skilled worker visa. So for those who want a skilled worker visa or any work visa at all, then this video is definitely for you. Now, the major conversation here is around people on the skilled worker visa being fired or being sacked from their job. And this video is inspired by my conversation in the in the recent week with immigrants who recently lost their job with their employer, which is obviously also their sponsor. And there's really a lot of dilemma on what next. What do I do next? How do I still retain my permission to live in the United Kingdom? So I'm going to be explaining all of that in this video. So there are so many reasons why your visa can be revoked. One of them is you being fired from your job, and these two individuals' job was lost in the space of 8 to 10 months after getting on the job. So I'm going to have a lot of conversation on why did they get sacked, what is the next line of action for them as an immigrant on a skilled worker visa who recently lost their job, and what are the other reasons why your visa can be revoked by your employer, you know, um, which obviously also affects your permission to live and work in the United Kingdom. So we're going to talk about all of that in this video. If someone simply like to know more about it, don't go and keep watching to the end. And if you're coming across this channel for the first time, do also hit on the subscribe button to join the amazing growing family. And my returning subscribers, thank you guys for being here. I really do appreciate you guys. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. A little backstory on what happened, with this individual who got his visa revoked, and obviously that was after he got fired by the employer. Now, of course, I got the permission from him to share this information, and the whole idea here is just to make sure that people, get to know what other people are experiencing, so that they can either find a way to avoid experiencing the same, or if they're also in the same situation, they know how to navigate through that particular situation. So this particular individual got a job as a biomedical scientist here in the UK, and um, of course, for every new job you get in the UK, you get to go through what is called the probational period. Um, so it was on probation for 6 months, and his line manager was not really happy with his deliverables. So according to him, she felt it wasn't delivering as expected. They had like should I say bare minimum performance expected for him to pass the probation. So according to the line manager, it wasn't meeting up with that requirement, and they've had like lots of one-to-ones, lots of conversations on what does it need additional support, for him to be able to meet the requirement for the job, and all of those interesting stuff. So according to him, his probation was moved 1 month forward. So on the 7th month, he had another conversation with the manager, and he got the same feedback. They were not happy with his deliverables. It wasn't meeting up with requirements. There are things he was expected to start doing independently that is still requiring a lot of support and all of that. So to cut the long story short, his probation was moved another 1 month, and at this time, HR was involved with the whole probation stuff. And anyway, eventually they came to a conclusion that he is not fit for the job, and he was fired. Now, one thing you need to know is that the moment you get fired from your job, especially if you don't know, is that you also get to lose your license. I mean, the employer that sponsors you um, will be required to take off their license from you. And the moment you lose your license, you are going to get a letter from the Home Office, and that letter is what determines your fate as a resident in the United Kingdom. Now, let's give a very good context to this. Now, your employer, as the holder of a sponsor license, will need to report that they have stopped sponsoring you as a worker to UK VI within 10 days of termination of employment. This is done using the sponsor management system, that's a SMS. The employer would need to report this change for any reason that they have ceased to sponsor the worker, including the following examples. So there's so many reasons why a sponsor will decide to like say they're no longer sponsoring you. And one of them is that if you choose not to work with them anymore, you probably got a new job and you resign, a lot of that. But anyway, the mode of contention is you being fired. Now, if you get fired or your contract is terminated, the employer is obligated or required to inform the Home Office within 10 days or 10 working days that this guy no longer works with us and would like to withdraw our sponsor, our sponsor our sponsorship from him. And the moment the home office get informed about this, within the 10 working days after the individual's contract has been terminated, it's time for you. I mean, even before you even get terminated, contract get terminated. I tell people, see, before you get sacked in the UK, you would have seen the signs. I mean, the signs would have been there. When I spoke with those guys, it was like, oh yeah, I've seen the sign. They were not always happy with me. There was always a lot of complaint. All my one-to-ones were not coming up. So I was like, that was when you should have read the signs and apply for another job in a different organization. But anyway, the deed has been done already, and the next way forward is what happens after you got fired or your contract has been terminated by your employer. Now, the obvious way or the only way to go about this is to get a new job, to be honest with you, or switch to a different visa categories. And I've heard people say that, oh, can I switch to another, visa if I get fired from my employment? Yes, you can. In as much as you're able to meet up with the requirement for that new visa, you are able to actually, switch your visa immediately. Now, your permission on the skilled worker route can then be cancelled or curtailed as you would cease to meet the requirements of the immigration rules under which you were granted. Now, this is the case if, for example, you do not work for your sponsor. Now, so aside from being fired, another way for you to lose your license or lose your sponsorship is if you not start working with your employer, they can actually decide to withdraw the sponsorship. I remember, based on my own personal experience, when I got my second job, which was my first senior analyst role, I in 2023, one so I got this offer from an organization. I went through the employment check. They gave me my new COS for me to, switch my visa under their own sponsor license. And I think a couple of weeks before I applied, or a couple of days before I applied for the skilled worker visa to like switch to the skilled worker visa, I got a better offer somewhere, and this new offer was better in terms of work, work life balance. I mean, I was only required to be in the office twice every month with this new offer, and the salary was quite similar. But this previous offer I had that already gave me my new COS, I had to be in the office like 4 times every week. So I decided to go with the one that was, a bit flexible in terms of, working pattern and all of that. So what I did was I had to inform them that, oh, I would like to, withdraw my acceptance for the offer that was given. And, they already gave me my COS also. So they had to contact Home Office because the new organization I was going to, they wouldn't be able to offer me a COS because I have a pending or an existing COS already on their system. So the old employer had to, or the first employer had to withdraw their COS on SMS. After they were able to withdraw, that was when the new employer was now able to, issue me a new COS that I was able to use to switch. So there's so many. So if you not start working with your sponsor, they can withdraw your license or your sponsorship. You or your spouse confirm that your employment, volunteering, training, or job shadowing has ceased or will cease before the end record on the certificate of sponsorship. So my first employer here in the UK, I think I only spent 7 months, 7 to 8 months on the job. So I had a 3 years visa sponsorship and I was there for only 8 months. So the moment I informed my employer that I was not going to work with them anymore, they can also, inform the Home Office, or they will also inform the Home Office that this guy is no longer with us, would like to withdraw the sponsorship. Now, the start date on your job as recorded in certificate of sponsorship is delayed by more than 28 days. So you need to be very careful. When you're deciding on your start date with your employer, what they are putting on your COS, you must make sure that you start at that particular period or within 28 days after the start date. If it's after 28 days, then there's possibility that your license might be your sponsorship might be withdrawn. And also you cease to work with your employer. I already talked about this. Now this is what happens when your employer inform the Home Office that you're no longer working with them. You get a letter cancelling or curtailing your leave, which is set out to have typically 60 days following the end of your employment to make arrangements or until the end of your visa, generally which is shorter. The 60 days start from the receipt of the letter. In some circumstances, leave can be cancelled immediately, but this would be in exceptional situation. So in most situations, they're going to give you like time to plan and find a new job, and 60 days is trust me, it's not a lot to get a new job. So I think if you do want to start getting that sign, you start getting that, body language from your current employer, your line manager, and it looks like your contract might be terminated, it's time to start applying for a new job before that contract gets terminated, because you don't want to get into the situation whereby you get terminated today, 10 days after you get a letter from the home office saying you have just 60 days, and applying for a job, going for interviews, landing a new job within 60 days might be a little bit challenging. Not impossible, but a little bit challenging. So you need to start looking out for yourself as quick and as fast as possible. So I hope you find this video informative. If you do, please click on the like button. If you have any question around UK immigration, how to land your job, visa, sponsorship, all of those interesting stuff, do well to put your questions in the comment section. And if you're coming across my channel for the first time, please do well to hit the subscribe button to join the amazing growing family. And my returning subscribers, you guys are the real MVP. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you guys. So this will be the end of this video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you.